Today we have an iPhone 14 sent in for a repair. Now this one has had a previous screen repair, but the client confirmed that it was showing signs of heating. They confirmed that the battery drain was quite high, and we immediately noticed that the screen was actually sticking out of the housing. Just to confirm, this is not how Apple make their original screen. You can immediately tell the difference between the screen from an original, and we wanted to test this heating under thermal camera. You can see immediately the iPhone's glowing hot. That heat will then pull from the battery, meaning immediately you're experiencing poor battery health, which is unfair if you've just had the screen replaced. Comparing that under thermals to an original screen, I've picked up a 12 Pro Max here, and you can barely see the heat under thermals. This is how screen repair should be. You should have your screen repaired and it should be as close as you can to the Apple original. Going back to that iPhone 14 for a second, you can clearly see the heat. I just wanted to test it twice to make sure that I wasn't seeing something that isn't actually there. Now, cheap aftermarket screens, especially the LCD screens, can cause this type of issue. That's because it's not the original Apple technology. And this is the genuine screen that we're going to be replacing it with. We're using a genuine pulled screen here, and we're also going to be replacing the battery. The battery is also a pulled original, and that sits at 100% battery capacity. Both parts today we're going to calibrate with iOS 18 and confirm the original parts. Now into the repair, we'll start by taking out the bottom screws. This is how the iPhone screen is actually held in place. I've actually done this off camera, but the iPhone does get heated on a hot plate and then some isopropanol put between the screen to loosen that adhesive. The screen is then cut out of place, and we actually use thin plastic cards. I prefer the black rather than the gold, but it's easy enough cut out because it's not the original adhesive. When opening, you can clearly see the difference between an original screen and this LCD screen. Apple screens are controlled by microchips, and the microchips aren't the original, which we generally see causing touch faults. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have a genuine screen fitted, but when you do, you take out the risk of any further issues in future like touch faults. Comparing the two screens together, and you can clearly see a difference. Maybe not as obvious in the top, but the side profile does show that the LCD screen has a thicker profile, which we showed at the start of the video that stuck out of the housing. Now, when a screen sticks out of the housing, it's more likely to break, which is why when you have a cheap aftermarket screen fitted, you'll always be going back to the same repairer having the same screen repaired. For those that do get their screens repaired by good third-party repairers or at the Apple Store, you'll find that you only have your iPhone repaired once and then that's it. And that's the thing about good repair, it should only be done once. Now, Apple made the repair of the iPhone 14 easier by allowing the back glass just to be easily removed. We applied heat off camera and some isopropanol and cut out the back, just like we did the front. To access the battery and the logic board, you actually go from the back of the phone, rather than the front of the phone that we've seen in previous models. This is more like the iPhone 4S design, which we believe is going to be the future design that's going to allow detachable batteries. I will definitely release a video of what I think that's going to look like in the future. Now, with both the front screen and the rear glass removed, it's an easy component to repair. The original adhesive is removed with a spinning tool. If you're a repairer watching this, it's the easiest way to remove this original seal. Without it, we could lose so much time, and I'm surprised that the Apple Store themselves don't use it. We attach both the battery and the genuine screen to go through calibration. Thank you, Apple, for allowing all third-party repairers to have access to this. So effectively, we can calibrate the genuine parts we use, just like they would at the Apple Store. Now, this repair was close to the original release, so we were unable to configure through the iPhone itself. That's through settings and repair and servicing. So we access Apple's diagnostic tool, and that's where we can now calibrate the iPhone's parts. To access the diagnostic tool, you turn off the phone and then plug it in with a charger while holding the up volume and down volume buttons. I'm kind of doing that awkwardly with my left hand, but you'll see that it now goes into the diagnostic and repair mode. You do, of course, have to connect to Wi-Fi so that Apple can track you. It's nice that they can see these genuine parts fitted at iCorrect. So the two options here are finish repair and run diagnostics, and the cool thing is that we can run diagnostics to see if there's any other faults. And here, before we finish the repair, it confirms that the screen is a genuine part and the battery is a genuine part. The parts that we use at iCorrect are from genuine iPhones, and they're pulled parts. Some require slight refurbishment of the actual parts themselves, and some we can just use straight away, like this screen had not a single mark. Going through the confirmation, it now confirms that the genuine parts are fitted, and then we can go through settings to confirm that. We go into General, and then About, and then in this area called Parts and Service, and you can see the two parts are now calibrated, the battery and the display. They show as used parts because we have taken these parts from other iPhones, and it does confirm the date of fitting. What I really like here is that Apple have added a small recycling logo to confirm that that used part is sustainably sourced and is a recycled part. Now, after finishing the repair, we can confirm that the screen is back in as it should be. The aim with repair is always to have a repair completed as it would be coming out of the Apple Store. As repairers at iCorrect, that's exactly what we're aiming to do here. And I'll be honest, it's kind of annoying that we have repairers that don't do that. We'll put the iPhone under thermal cameras just once more to confirm that it's not overheating now that the new screen is fitted and the new battery's in place. For my techs who know that this is a Seek thermal camera that we're using, it's not picking up the heat anymore. And yes, we do need to replace our thermal camera, which we will do in the future. There are definitely better versions available now. I just like this one because it was my first thermal camera, and it was back in the day when thermal cameras were super crazy expensive. So we've confirmed here that there's no visible heat from the iPhone and it should just drain as normal. I feel sorry for my client that they've had to pay double for a repair, and that's because they paid someone else to complete a screen repair and then us to correct it all. I do want to say though that good repair isn't cheap, and cheap repair is not good. I appreciate you watching my video today, and you can head to our website to confirm all our prices and book your repair.